Hey, it's the green, and pink again. Not in pink though, I'm in blue. Anyways, I want to give a shout out today to my husband and talk about something that is very important to him and me, and something that we are working on and feel very strongly about, and that's prison ministry. And today, my husband, I'm very proud of him because today he is going, and he goes once a week to the prison in Cali. It's a men's prison. It's in the middle of the city, and he goes and he teaches, and he works. It's through the Chuck Carlson. I should know, but I don't. But it's through that program, and it's a great program. It's absolutely a really good ministry program because this is how they do it. They take the book of Mark and they focus on three topics: who Jesus is, why did he come, and then the third is what's next. Once you know who Jesus is, once you know why he came, what's next for you? What do you want to do? Do you want to commit yourself to Jesus, or do you want to reject it, or do you want to, and if you want to, what does that mean for you? And so it's really, really a good program. It breaks the book of Mark down so simple. And they took just one book, and it's the book of Mark. And they took the gospel from the book of Mark, and they teach who Jesus is and why he came. And they teach the whole good news. And it's just, whoever wrote the program did a fabulous job. I'm a teacher by profession. So when I looked at the lessons, I was like, wow, I'm really impressed, because these are lessons that engage people. They ask questions and prompt people to have to think what do they know about Jesus, what they think about the Bible, what do they think is in the Bible. And the guys that participate in the beginning, they all get a little mini pamphlet book of the book of Mark. And if they continue with the program and graduate, then they receive a really nice Bible at the end. All part of the program, all free. It doesn't cost the people that participate from the prison in any way. They get everything free. And it's a really, really great program and a really great ministry. And Jorge had been talking about it for a couple years, and we talked to people, but it just never came together. And then we met this couple in our church, Marjorie, and Marjorie's the woman, and her daddy's in prison. And so she came to Jorge and talked, because Jorge, my husband, has been in prison. And if you're wondering, what did he do? Well, let's say he's Colombian, he's from Cali, 1980s, 1990s. What do you think? So anyways, you can draw your own conclusions there, yes. He tried to smuggle a plane load of cocaine into the country, but it was DEA agents instead. So anyways, and I can do another video on that if you want to hear about it. Just write comments and tell me, and I can tell you some more about that. And I can even have him come and tell you about it. But so prison ministry is really important. And I actually remember that Jorge went away to a men's conference because we hadn't told anybody but our pastor about his past, because we kind of keep it a little bit. It's not that we're ashamed of it. I'm saying it on YouTube. God knows who could see this. But it's just not something that, it's not just a party starter or a conversation starter. Hey, I was in prison in the U.S. So pastor knew about it, but we hadn't told anybody else. And so he went away to a men's conference, and he came home. And he said, I felt the Holy Spirit telling me to give my witness. And he told all the guys that had gone to that conference his testimony about how he found Christ in prison, how he, and how God sustained him through a 20-year sentence, and how God just has moved in his life so powerfully since we've been here, the 5 years in Colombia. And just, he shared. And it was really one of our best friends now, Fernando, he actually came up to Jorge afterwards. He'd only done like 5 years. He's a short timer. And Jorge reminds me of my dad. My dad did 30 years in the Marine Corps. And, guys would come up and go, I did. I was in the Marines. And Jorge's like, my daddy would be like, how long? And they'd be like, 4 years. And Dad's like, you're not a Marine, go away. If you don't do 20, if you don't at least put in 20, you're not a Marine. And so Jorge's kind of the same way, when guys say, oh, I did 5 years or I did 3 years. He's like, really, run along, little child, and play. I did 20 years. And so, and it's a totally different experience. Anybody that's ever, been in prison will tell you doing 20 years is like a whole mental, totally different thing than doing just a couple years. But anyways, Fernando's now one of our best friends, and Jorge gave his testimony, and I can remember thinking, oh my God, nobody's going to speak to us at church anymore. People are just, when we walk in, everybody will part. But because he gave that testimony, also Marjorie's husband Arturo was there, and Arturo heard it, and I guess he must have told Marjorie about it at some point or other. And I don't know, because they come to our Bible studies too, so maybe the topic had come up in a Bible study. But anyways, when her dad got arrested, Jorge was one of the people that she felt like she could go and say, can you pray for my dad? He just got arrested. He's, 60-something years old, and he thought that, because he was so old, he could get away with, and I can't remember what country, I think Panama or some other country. But, so, it's really been a blessing. Jorge's been able to help a lot of people that are out, because there are a lot of people that are out and deported or just out from Colombian prisons. And, when they hear, I did 20 years and I'm doing okay now, and God has blessed me and given me a beautiful house and a wife and a beautiful puppy baby, because we don't have kids, but we do have a puppy baby and stuff like that, then, it's a good witness. And so it was, of course, a step and a calling for him to go to prison. And this prison's ministry is really, really good. If you ever have thought, I would like to go and be part of a prison ministry, if you can find somebody within that company or that ministry and contact them, maybe they can show you how to do it too. We're just really, really happy and with it. And I'm now probably, hopefully, going to be able to go to a women's prison and teach English. And I teach English through teaching Bible verses, teaching Christian songs, different, activities that when you're learning about what you can say about yourself, you can say, I'm a woman of God, and they learn that versus, just the standard every day, hi, how are you, English lesson. And I've been doing it with church people and people in the church, and so now hopefully I will have a chance to take that to the prison, and that'll be the women's prison, which is in Hamandi. And so God is really, really blessing us and helping us in ministry, and just so that we don't get paid for this. This is all voluntary work that we do. We don't get one single penny for it. I'm a firm believer in where Paul says, if you don't work, you don't eat. And so, we both work very hard. I teach English to Chinese kids through a computer program. And my husband is a translator, and we work many, many hours. And so, God has blessed us financially to be able to be in jobs that we can take time off. We can, I work from 5 o'clock in the morning to 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, because China's 13 hours ahead of us. So, and technically I could be given sign classes at 4 o'clock in the morning, but so far none. But anyways, that's really good for us. It's really, and so I'm free at 9 o'clock. And then Jorge, because his work is kind of an on-call kind of thing and a kind of scheduled kind of thing, and not like he makes his own schedule. He can get up in the morning and say, I want to go run, or he can get up in the morning and say, I want to do some work and go do some translating. So he is his own boss. He makes his own schedule. So God's blessed us to be able to do this ministry, and I'm so excited about it. And like I said, the Chuck Carlson, the lessons are so wonderful. And so if you are thinking about prison ministry for whatever reason, if you have a testimony yourself, because almost all of Jorge's friends that he long-term friends were from prison that have also been deported when they're when they get out of prison, and so they come back to Colombia, and then I get to meet them, and so it's kind of cool. And they're all mostly Christians. I mean, there have been a couple guys that we've met that weren't Christians. The guy that gave me a ride in his BMW the day I got out, the day I came to Colombia, and my husband had no car. He was like, oh my God, Kenny's going to have to ride a bus from the airport to the bus station, and then, we're going to have to get a taxi, and what is she going to think, and everything. And so he met this, he was at the airport, and this guy came up and said, hey, do you remember me? And you're Jorge Rodriguez, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh. And Fabian, and he was like, oh, Fabio. And he was talking to him, and they were talking about why they were at the airport. And Jorge said, well, my wife's coming in. And so Fabio said to him, well, do you have a car? And Jorge said no. And he'd actually gotten there like an hour and a half early. So the guy waited for him for an hour and a half and drove me home in my favorite dream car that is like on my wish list, on my dream board. So that was really super cool that God did that. So, and I'm off topic, but anyways, that's his friends. And that guy wasn't even really part of the Christian church in the prison system, but, that was really cool that he was able to do that for us. And most of the friends though are Christians. Many guys that come out end up being preachers and pastors. We have many pastor friends. In fact, we have two friends that have churches in this Cali area that both were in prison and got out and became pastors. And so it's a really important time. And, sometimes that's when people are willing to sit down and be quiet and listen to God, when there's nothing left, when everything's stripped away, all your money is gone, all your, trappings are gone, everything, the job that you had that made so much money, and all the people that thought you were so cool because you made so much money, all that's gone, all that's stripped away, all that's taken away. And so, it's kind of a rock bottom, kind of like being a drug addict and waking up, sleeping on the street kind of situation. Sometimes there are some people who have to get to that point before they will listen to the gospel. And so the harvest is very plentiful there. There's many, many ears willing to listen and hearts willing to be open. And so it's just a great ministry. And I'm so thankful and blessed that we have this ministry and this opportunity. So that is just what I wanted to do today. I give it a shout out. Oh, and this is just how God works. Because of me, because it was kind of like they were thinking me and Jorge would go and teach together, but my Spanish really isn't that good. And there's like they put the guys in what they call patios. And basically, it's a prison within a prison. It's like one building, and in that building might be 2 stories, and it has so many beds, so many rooms, so many, a place to eat. Every single one is its own unto itself kind of little mini prison. and they separate. And if you're rich, you go into the rich prison, rich section, and you have your own bed. You have to pay for this, so you have to pay a monthly fee. And you have your own bed, and it's, I guess, considered nicer than, the other sections. But, and that is where most of the people, I think, were thinking they're like in charge of the situation, and managers for the organization thought that I guess they should go because, I'm a woman and I'm an American and, blah, blah, blah. And, these guys are doctors and lawyers and laundriers. They're not some of the other levels of people that, some of the other crimes. And so I think they just thought I would be better there. But Pastor Samuel, who's one of the people that's really in charge, he really felt in his heart to put us in Patio 4. And Jorge said, I don't want you to go. I want me to go to see it. And Patio 4 is the guerrillas, which are basically, and this is crazy because it's the FARC and the paramilitaries, which the paramilitaries and the FARC hate each other and want to kill each other out in the real world. So why they would put them together, I have no idea. And it's actually really weird because the men in that patio kind of run it. They kind of say when people can come, they can go up to Jorge. He could have been there 30 minutes and they can say, you got to go. And, the guards actually don't really, even I've been in the rich patio, and even in the rich patio, you don't see like 100 guards in, show of force and stuff like that. It's pretty much once you're in there, it's kind of, it is what it is. And so Pastor Samuel just had it in his heart, and he just argued and argued for us to go into Patio 4. And I was willing to go in Patio 4, but Jorge wanted to check it out first. And when he came home, he said, I really don't want you to go there right now. And he said, by the end of the classes, I want you to, come once or twice, and I've talked to the guys about you and stuff, but I don't want you to go every week. And I really think it's probably the best idea. I think that it was God, because I think that I would be a distraction. A white American woman inside this, place. I think that there would be a lot of guys who'd be like, paying attention to me instead of paying attention to what's being said and stuff. So I really do think that, that was the best decision. And I'll get to go. I'll get to meet all the guys, for graduation. I'll go at least before. If I don't go before that, maybe like at one of the last lessons I'll go. But the pastor somehow just was very, very like, Jorge needs to go in Patio 4. And Patio 4 also had never, ever, ever had anybody in there. It had a church, and it had Christians, and it had other groups come and talk to them and share, but it had never had anybody from our organization go in. And so Jorge went in, and he saw somebody that he had actually known in America in one of the prisons. Only when he knew him there, he described him as this chunky, happy, nice guy, happy, and he went home, I think, before Jorge and everything. And so when Jorge saw him, he said, I hardly recognized him because he was skinny and drawn out and definitely on drugs. And every time Jorge's gone, the guy has maybe come to a little bit of the lesson, but he always runs away before the lesson ends. And he always hides when Jorge first comes in. So today, Jorge's partner, Olimpo, for us, he's a really great guy too. He actually been in prison and gotten out, and so now he goes and shares with the guys and found Christ in prison. So that's really cool. And it's his turn to teach the big lesson. So Jorge's going to help him set it up and do everything, and then he's going to go ask if he can go look for that friend, because we both have it in our heart to tell him that God loves him so much And it doesn't matter where he is right now. And it doesn't matter how many times he's messed up. It doesn't matter what he's done in the past. God can meet him right here and now. And God's a God of second and third and fourth chances. And Jorge's whole life is a witness of that, the chances that he's had, the opportunities that he's had. God, it's like in the story of Job. Everybody always talks about Job and how he loses everything, but nobody ever talks about the restoration at the end of the book. And to me, that's the most beautiful part of the book. And I think that, so today, Jorge gets to talk to his friend, hopefully, and share with him how much God loves him. And we really believe that that's one of the main reasons Jorge was put and was called to Patio 4, because he needed to meet that guy and tell him that, God is a God of restoration and second chances, and it doesn't matter what you've done or how many times you failed, God will pick you up. So I want to end it on that, no matter where anybody is in their life, and you may never have been in prison and you may not have hit that bottom, but you may have another low point in your life. You've lost a child, you've lost a job, you've lost your wife, your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever it is. God is a God of restoration, and He is a God of second chances and third chances, and it doesn't matter, and He doesn't judge you. We judge ourselves, and Satan tries to condemn us and judge us and bring condemnation into our hearts and our minds, but that's not from God. And so that's, I think, where I'll leave you, is that, God is a God of restoration. So have a great day. Bye. God bless. Oh, follow me. I've got an Instagram. It's Candy Bezos, KandyBessos, because I didn't know how to spell it, OXOX, for Instagram. So you can follow me there, and have a great day. Oh, and like the video if you like it. Subscribe. Ciao.